Jada Group collapses, owing 2.4 million. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at another builder that's gone under. This is, well, a regular series now on the channel. The construction apocalypse is continuing. And it's such a mixed bag. You talk to people out in the game, people are flat out. I'll give you an example. The other day I wanted to cut down some screw piles that I had here in my house. Now I asked viewers, all of you for advice, and people gave some good suggestions, some terrible suggestions, and I ended up buying a plasma cutter because I figured, well, I'm going to need an air compressor eventually, so I might as well use this as an excuse to get one. And I managed to cut through a fair few of them, but it was taking a lot longer than I thought, and it was challenging work, shall I say, for the first time ever using a plasma cutter, bending over in a hall and cutting a pipe. So I wanted to get a welder to come out and just cut them for me. I rang up a labour hire company, and I'd hired a general labourer to come and help me out mixing the concrete. And I said, can I also get a labourer? Because they sent me their whole price sheet. A welder, they sent me their whole price sheet. And they replied back going, can't do it. All of them are at full-term, long contracts. So it's just one little data point there, where in the last few days, I've experienced personally the shortage in welders, or how hard it is to get certain skills. You tell me, guys, if you've experienced the same thing. So you've got whole sectors of construction which are busy. We've got builders that are working on education projects. I'm talking to other mates that have got a variety of sectors they work in, and they're flat out. But one common thread seems to be that the busy ones are the ones that are not exposed in the residential sector. That's the one part where we're starting to see these builders fall over. So let's look at this article here, and let's see what Jada does. Sydney building company Jada Group collapses, owing 2.4 million. One family has been left in a nightmare situation with no house and faces having to fork out an extra $800,000 just to see their dream home built. Now, once again, I'm going to remind everyone of how our government came to the rescue, guys. They've been juicing the market. The RBA has artificially lowered the cash rate to the point now where, it's at 1.35. But just climbing up to a sensible rate again is going to hit a lot of people hard. You've got home builder. Now you can see in the building approval chart there just that huge peak. The line shooting up there. That is the number of home builder projects. Now what it did is it pulled projects forward. It overheated the market. You're getting, 15 grand from the government, but everything's more expensive. There's a shortage for things. Projects take longer. Did it work? Was it worth it? We're starting to see all these builders now going to the brink because they kept zombie companies alive. They changed the rules trading while insolvent. That scared me the most of anything. So our companies entering external administration, that tanked below trend significantly, and it's just starting to creep up. So you've got to remember there is a price to pay for all of this intervention that the government does, and they use housing to stimulate the economy. And let's have a look here at the Wayback Machine archive of the Jada Group's website. And we can see, they do a lot of residential and commercial work. It seems like they do design and some maintenance as well, waterproofing. But, you can see here the type of projects that they do, everyone. This is, right along the lines of what I've been talking about, the residential sector. As an architect, I like these type of projects. As a parent and homeowner, I just think, how am I going to clean that? I guess, you'd mod the steel and do things like that. But anyway, so yeah. There you go, guys. It's the same sector that's being hit by all of this. The consequence of the intervention the government's done. So, and, a terrible situation for the people involved. A Sydney family faced never being able to build their dream home after their builder collapsed in March, owing millions, and the cost of their home's construction jumped to $1.9 million, a whopping $800,000 more than the original quote. That's, that's a tough one. 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 That's a to Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, this is why the builders have gone under. It's that simple reason. Because the costs have gone up. It's not like the builders that they're making more profit. You see these idiots that are thinking inflation is just greed. And the concerning thing is you've got politicians who think that, get elected, and then enact policy. That lack of understanding of how business functions is just insane. How can you get that far in society with not really experiencing that? I guess that just shows you, isn't it, the paths people take. The 10-year-old building company called Jada Group went under with $2.4 million in outstanding debt to 45 creditors. A report from Mac Insolvency Lodge with ASIC in June showed. One family who were building with the company had been left in tears. The Greg Rossos, who had a 4-year-old son together and a daughter with her husband's previous relationship, had been squeezed into a 2-bedroom apartment in Sydney. But wanted to expand their family. They purchased a block of land in North Kellyville to build their forever home 3 years ago. They signed up to build with Jada Group in November for a 4-bedroom, 2-story home, which was to include a swimming pool. The 38-year-old and her 41-year-old husband poured $50,000 into architects' designs and were excited to build their new home. Well, hopefully they still have the rights to they should have the rights to use the design and just go to someone else. Then began a horror 2 years for the family, who claim they've been left in limbo and don't know if they'll ever recover the money they paid to the builder. Probably not. It's probably gone. We still don't even have a slab on our property, and a builder has gone into liquidation. We put down a $150,000 deposit, and we can't move forward, she told news.com.au. We're concerned with the cost of products skyrocketing in that time, and now with the anticipated property price drops of about $400,000, that if we do build and overcapitalize, we will owe more money than the property is worth. Well, your best bet now would be to redesign. Simplify what you've got, decrease the size of your building. Don't put the pool in now, maybe put it in later. Find ways to save money, cheaper materials externally. Stage it. Even then, the family don't know if they'll be able to ever build their dream home, as they face being unable to finance it, as the building cost jumped a staggering $800,000. You're going to have to wait then. I mean, there you go. Okay. It started. Miss Garozzo said that they had expected to move into the home by March 2021 in time to celebrate her husband's 40th birthday. Well, I mean, that's what happens, guys, with these construction projects. But by April 2021, they had resorted to installing cameras on their site to monitor it, she said. She claimed disputes over tradies not being paid by Jada Group meant no work was being done between July and mid-November on their site, before contractors returned briefly. But since December 2021, the site has sat untouched. Yeah, they were in trouble. They were in trouble for some time, it looks like. Seeking answers, they kept calling the company, and they last spoke to them in February, before ultimately being ignored, according to Miss Garozzo. Then a bombshell letter dropped in March this year that Jada Group had gone into liquidation, leaving the couple shocked and grieving as their savings, family home, and financial stability had been stolen. We'd ostrich syndrome and didn't want to acknowledge what was happening. But there's frustration and anger and sadness and guilt. And then it caused marital strain, as we couldn't agree on what course of action to take. It had a ripple effect on every aspect of our life. It was pervasive and we couldn't escape from it, and now it's ongoing. Yeah, I mean, that's the stress of these, well, doing anything really. Any big project, any big build, anything in life. It's just a part of being married, really. Overcoming these challenges. Hopefully it'll make you stronger through it. But you may never want to build again going through this. So, what went wrong for the company? The report from Mac Insolvency lodged with ASIC revealed the outstanding $2.4 million of debt included $265 owed to the Australian Taxation Office. Now remember, the ATO wasn't hunting down taxes back when they allowed people to trade while insolvent. There was a reprieve on all of that. And now they're putting the squeeze. So, thousands owed to a number of tradies and material suppliers, while his business account with the CBA was overdrawn by $1,062. So they were completely done. Among the creditors are a stone supplier who is owed $21,000, a roofing company that is waiting for $22,000, while bricklayers are owed $17,000 according to Liquidator's report. Now those numbers, don't get me wrong, they're you'll feel not having $20,000 come in your business, but it's not as bad as that other brickie who was owed $400,000. They were just stringing him on. You know, this is the reality in small business. Sometimes you're gonna have to cop a $20,000 hit. You know, you're gonna have to cop it. It's a learning experience. It hardens people politically, I think. Apart from the Garozzo family's build, there was another residential property in the inner west Sydney suburb of Erkensville that was also impacted, the report added. The director has outlined that the business failed as a result of defect claims received on its construction of residential dwellings, as well as the high cost of materials, the report said. It also identified a number of director offences based on its preliminary investigation that they are considering reporting to ASIC, including failure to use care and diligence, failure to maintain adequate books and records, and incurring liabilities while insolvent. There you go. There you go. Trading while insolvent, guys. That's until you're stiffed on money, you do work for someone, you give it to them, and they just don't pay you. And you chase them, and there's nothing to get back, or you have to jump through all these hoops, take all this legal matter to get some money back. You don't appreciate why I was freaking out so much about them changing the rules while trading while insolvent. I mean, I'm sure everyone who watches who's in small business, particularly in construction, I bet you've had someone that you've had the dodgy done that hasn't paid you or has really dragged it out. I remember I was working as a student. I was working for one architect, and this restaurant sent the guy a check and saying, this is, I think they wrote something funny in it, going, this is final and due payment for everything, and it wasn't enough. He took the money, cashed it, and wrote back saying, thank you for deposit. But what had happened is they'd renegotiated by sending that particular letter, so we couldn't fight him for it anymore. It seemed quite tricky, honestly. It really did. Fortunately, I'm in a point now where I'm much more picky with who I work. So it's been a while since I've been stiffed. But it happens, guys. It happens in business. And see, for me, my costs are time, overheads, power, equipment. For a tradie, if you have to buy materials and stick it into someone's building, how would that feel? You can't go in there and tear it out, can you? You shouldn't. Legally, you can't. The report also noted that the books and records received to date, that it was the liquidator's opinion the company had not been insolvent since at least the 30th of June 2019. That Miss Garozzo is scathing of the insolvency process, particularly as the couple wanted to pursue the company's owners personally for their losses, only to be told the administrators had no money to fund such action. Instead, they were asked if they wanted to fork out their own money to pursue him legally. Yeah, of course, why is that shocking? That's the point. If you have a contract with them, you need to pursue them yourself. Find a lawyer, chuck some money at him or her. That's what happens. That's reality. Do people not... I mean, I guess this is the sad advantage of working in small business and experiencing this firsthand, getting screwed over by people. I guess there's some people that aren't exposed to it, maybe. I lost my S. I was crying and saying to the liquidators, if he had the money, he wouldn't have gone insolvent. This is a ludicrous system where the creditors are screwed, she said. There are 45 creditors he owes. We're the biggest and there's no money left. So, an unrealistic mortgage of $2.2 million. The mother of two said they'd made a claim on home warranty insurance, but it wasn't going to be enough to build their house. We are now at the mercy of the home warranty people who have accepted liability, but you can only claim 20% of the contract amount, which is roughly $200,000, she explained. We have paid $200,000 worth of expenses already, and we don't quite understand, but they have put the process out to tender whereby other builders are coming in with quotes at $1.9 million. So does the home warranty, do they take over and administer this, or do they put it out to tender? You're going to have to redesign, guys. There's been a shitload of inflation in materials. Why do you think this builder went bust? Why do you think they're all going bust? Everything's getting more expensive. You're going to have to redesign. Okay? Go to another architect or go to a building designer, or you may need to get a spec home. We can't even afford to get finance. That would mean a mortgage of $2.2 million when you include what still is owed on the land. Obviously, it's caused a lot of distress. The whole process is completely unregulated, and the people that get screwed over are the creditors. It's incredibly regulated. What? The family aren't sure what the future now holds for them as they continue to rent, including having to move recently as their landlord sold up. So this seems like all the shit is hitting the fan for these poor people right now. In reality, what they need to do is they need to chuck out their dream design. Either need to sell up and walk away, chuck out the dream design and redesign. That's what they have to do. Maybe get a spec home, a cheap one for $500,000 or $250,000, and then later on extend it. Maybe get additional stub work put in so you can easily build a second story, or even get some steel put in and some screw piles underneath so it can hold another story above. Future-proof your design, but give up on the dream. You got to face reality. It's not the end of the world. Don't let it get to you. We should have been in position with significant equity in our home, and now we're in the predicament where we can't even afford to build. It's taken away all hopes and aspirations and dreams, she said. Everything we've sacrificed and worked so hard for has gone. Well, it's not gone. You've still got the land. The land is the most valuable thing. You can put another house on it. You can scale back your ambitions. It's just part of life. You got to roll with the punches. You'll be better for it in the end. With the uncertainty, additional costs, and being in limbo, we can't even think about having another child. Oh. We're getting older. I'm approaching 39 and don't want to have kids at 40 or 41. Fortunately, we have other kids, but our picture-perfect life that got destroyed. I mean, I understand why people are worried about kids and money, but, I mean, I don't care. It's bullshit. You can find a way to make it work. Kids aren't that expensive. Just don't spoil them, honestly. And I'm saying that as the father of 6, so there you go. Too many victims of building crises. Ms. Garozzo is calling for better regulation of the building industry and for directors to be held accountable. Well, they can be held accountable. You have to take legal action yourself against them. That's going to cost you money. Go talk to a lawyer. I hope you got paid for this article. Go talk to a lawyer. Get some legal advice. See if it's worth even pursuing these people. I'm a director of a company. So, wait. She's a director of a company. What the hell? How does she not... Why are they reacting like this? And I'm liable. I will accept if something is wrong. I can identify if the company is going downhill and will never take someone's money if that was the case, she said. I work in the criminal justice system of clients in jail for stealing or defrauding for less money than we had lost. I don't understand it. It irritates me. All because it's so unregulated and these people are hiding behind a banner of the company and gives them some level of protection. But why? It doesn't take legal action. Shit, calling for more regulation. Like that's the solution to this. She added there are too many victims piling up as a result of building collapses and a serious review of the industry. Introduce better laws. What? Why is this a common thing? Always calling on more regulation, more government, more intervention. The governments are the ones that have overheated the bloody construction sector, so we're getting this mess. Am I the only one that sees that? For this to keep on going, there needs to be some action to prevent these people. I understand the government has taken steps to stop phoenixing and tried to stop people closing businesses down and opening another one under a new name. But this is destroying people's livelihoods, and there's no accountability, she said. There is. You have to take your own legal action. Sleepless nights, weight loss, heightened anxiety are a few of the many things that have not become... Oh, come on. Australians can try, blah, blah, blah. Rising costs, yeah. Rising costs, supply chain, periodic lockdowns, and you've got an overheated. Why is no one mentioning? Come on, who wrote this one? Who wrote this article? Come on, was it Sarah? Yes, Sarah. Come on, Sarah. You've got to understand, highlight the fact that this whole sector has been overheated by government stimulus to stimulate the economy. That's one of the big things that's causing this problem. Anyway, let's have a talk about this. Well, guys, what do you reckon? Is more regulation the answer to this? I hope not. I'm not calling for it. It seems to be where everyone is going for it again and again and again. I feel sorry for these people. They just need to re-evaluate their dreams. They need to put a $500,000 home on the site. You know, something much more scaled back. Or they need to sell and walk away if it's going to be too emotionally damaging for them, too hard for them to cope with. But this default, more regulation. Shit. Is that the default Aussie solution now to everything when people encounter challenges in their life? We need more regulation, more nanny stating. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can financially support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Buy our pocket squares or call us if you need an architect. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Calling for more regulation. You could probably take legal action against them personally for a couple of grand to at least get it moving.